Okay, so today this is a really cool project that I think you're gonna like. You know how you might sometimes have a whole bunch of greeting cards, just laying around, leftover, well, not even leftover, but you've saved them and they're either in a box, in a drawer, or in a photo album. If they're in a photo album, you can't really see the inside of the card. So, that kind of sucks. And then of course you've got the envelopes. And what I've done, I've got all my envelopes assorted by size. And I'm going to put those in a nice, neat little stack. We're going to set those aside. Then you've got all your greeting cards. You can either organize them by event or date or year or size, however you want to do it. I kind of sort of tried to arrange mine by size. And then you definitely want to line up all the edges. Okay, so we'll work on that part in a bit. So now you got all these cards in a big old stack. You got your envelopes. So what are you going to do with them? Well, I got some ideas off of Pinterest and YouTube, which is cool. But at the dollar store, this book is about 6 inches by 10 inches. Okay, and that's about the size that all these books could fit in. So these books have a hardcover, which I like. So you've got a hardcover front and back. And I just tossed away the book jacket. And what I did was you need to cut out the middle part. And you're going to save this paper for later because I'm going to show you some other things you can recycle with it. And it's kind of easy to get this book part out. You really just take some scissors or an X-Acto knife and you're just going to cut down the side and the lining of the book will come out. So see that little seam right there? You're just going to cut there and that'll let the book come all the way out. So I'm going to set that aside and show you one that I already did. Okay, so now we've got the book cover and I'm just double checking to make sure that all my cards will fit neatly inside. So that's going to be nice, but I'm going to change the cover of this. I'm going to decorate this. We're going to make it really, really nice. So one of the first things you want to do, or the next thing you want to do, is you're going to decide what are you going to do on the inside, because you need to cover this up with something and you need to cover these pages with something else. And then of course you're going to have the outer cover of the book. I'm going to use fabric and some glue, and then I'm getting ahead of myself, but I am going to show you this. You're going to take each card and you need a needle, and of course I can't find my needle. Oh, here it is. You're going to need a needle. You're going to need some thread. You can use the embroidery type thread, whatever color you want, or you could just use plain old regular thread. So what you're then going to do, just going to poke a little hole in the edge there, because that's going to go, you're going to stitch it through here. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, but let me go ahead and do this part and then we'll come back and I'll show you more in detail how to get all your cards into your greeting card keepsake album. Okay, be right back. Okay, so here's a couple of things you've got to do next. Okay, you're probably going to be using a standard hole puncher for your cards. To get through this book binding, you're going to have to use a drill or a hammer and a nail, something else, but I'll show you a couple of ways to do that. And you need to get these clips. They open up and they have them in different sizes. They sell them at the arts and crafts stores. So you could use 2 of them on each book or 3 if you want. It's up to you. But since I hate always having to change my hole punch thing, I'm just going to line it up next to the book to the top. And I've kind of marked off, actually, Yeah. I marked, came down a little bit more to where I know when I punch the hole in the card that it's going to be in the right spot. Let me flip that around. I'm gonna kind of use this end piece of the hole punch, that little section right there, so that way every time I put a card or envelope in there, it'll line up. So let me just redo this a little bit. Actually, don't quite need to redo it. That's gonna work out just fine. So you can kind of see you need to line up your hole punch with where you want it to be on the book. And don't worry if it's not exact, because you can always tweak it. You can always fix it a little bit. But what you will know, as long as you punch the holes, I'll go ahead and do this card there. Then when you get ready to put it in the book, it'll fit. And you can see, okay, I'm off a little bit. So we're gonna, that's gonna work. But what I'm going to do, where's that hole? Yeah, I did one, so I'm gonna switch this a little bit because I want all my cards to line up on this spot. So I'm just gonna draw a little circle where I'm gonna put the hole going through. So now I know when I use my hole puncher and use this to line up my cards and such to cut through, that they'll always line up in the book. So I'll do that one, and then I'll know when I put this one in the book, and then I put this one in. See how they'll all line up together. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna set the hole punch aside. We're gonna open up the book because we got all the cards in there. And what now I want you to do, or what you need to do, is make sure the edges of your book line up, because you're gonna need it to hold fast. So get you some binder clips or something, and because you want these edges to line up, because you're gonna drill, you're gonna make a hole here or here. There's two ways you can do this. You can use it with a power drill, get somebody to do it for you, or you could use a hammer and a nail and just go right on through there. Okay, let's see. So let me set this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the drill, and I'm gonna drill the two holes in there. Now, I don't think, because this is such hardcover, it's not going to just work with a regular hole punch. This will never get through this material. So it's just up to you, but you can get those openings in there. So let me pause and go get what I need, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a power tool, battery powered. If you don't have one of these, you can, I think, and we're going to try together, you could use a hammer and a nail. But I went ahead and picked out the right size drill bit that I think will fit, that this ring will go through. And I want to do this before I put on my fabric or scrap outer covers and all that stuff, because that way then the hole won't look all crazy like. Worst case scenario, if you don't have a drill, then just take a hammer and a nail, and you can just tap, tap, tap through it. I'll go ahead and do, now I'm done. I'll take the sound out of that part. So you can see I've got it almost all the way through, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish it through. So a simple hammer and a nail, because I know you may not be making these books, you may not be making these books for a living, for a job. This isn't something you're going to start on your Etsy shop. You might not want to go out and have the expense of a drill and all of that. So, oops, camera. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead, because I've clamped it together and I've got the drill on a low speed. I'm just going to go ahead and drill a hole right through there. See, the drill makes it real quick and real easy. Like I said, don't worry about this being a little raggedy, and you might just want to take something else and make sure you get it all the way through. on both sides. Yep, okay. And then I'm going to do the other hole. Let me set this like this. Gotta set it down. Be careful with power tools. Even on both sides. I'm gonna sorry for all the noise. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna open up this clip because you want to make sure your clamp is gonna go all the way through and to the other side. I'm gonna leave that in for right now. Plus the thickness of how many cards you're gonna put in this particular keepsake journal. So just slip that in and you just close that. So I'm gonna open this up. And now you can see the cool thing about these little rings is it'll let you lay your book pretty much somewhat flat. Okay, so now just gonna double check, and it's a little hard to tell right now, but yeah, all of these will fit in here just nicely. Once you get them all hole punched, they'll go in nice and even. So I'm gonna go ahead and start decorating the outer and the inner pages of this keepsake journal. Take that out. We'll take this out. And we'll be good to go. So easy peasy getting those holes in there nicely lined up. Oh, got something dirty on it already. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do however I'm gonna decorate it on the inside, the outside, and then yeah, we'll go from there. On to the next step.